Holy shit. Okay, well that's it, boys. We did it. We beat the game. Fuck. Spike dying was not something I wanted. They could have killed Lydia. The Camillo being murdered, he was kind of a nobody I didn't care about. Probably could have killed Lydia too, but then, you know, you can't have somebody brain control, even though prior in the side quest you have someone that literally gets consumed by the hive mind. So maybe it's not a good idea to let them do that. But yeah, overall I think outside of the weird story aspects, and when that bitch threw up on that helicopter and she starts talking, it's like, oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me, she's back. But yeah, so I think the game's okay. You know, I'm just gonna cut out all the issues. I think the game's really okay. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's the best game of the year. I think it's just a solid 8 out of 10 game. Knowing what I do now at the end of the game with the grenade launcher, I probably would not have wasted all those resources on hand grenades. I would have just rushed the grenade launcher and just used that instead, because that thing is so much more powerful than normal hand grenades. Story wise, it's okay. You know, like I didn't finish Dying Light 2, and then when I first saw the beast, I'm like, that's no way that's Aiden. And then when like he popped out, I'm like, that's Aiden. That's Aiden from Dying Light 2. So it was kind of cool seeing him come back and have like the little buddy aspect at the very end. I know these types of this game, specifically Dying Light as a series, they want you to play with a group. So there's always that. Playing in the group's kind of important because it adds to the fun aspect when you're getting chased by volatiles as, you know, 2 or 3 people, 2, 3, 4 people. I'm pretty sure you get to 4 people in Dying Light. So that's really the main draw of this game, is just running around parkouring with your friend, killing zombies, you know. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, story, it was a good continuation, I think, of the Dying Light series. I think the people being able to mind control zombies was kind of stupid. You know, I like the pheromone trail thing because that kind of has like a basis, you know. It's like, oh, they hunt this specific thing, we develop something, so they chase it down, all that stuff. I kind of like the whole aspect, like we just forgave the sheriff when like we've killed for less. You know, it's like, why, like we just did, like we said, oh, you know, the sheriff's gonna work with us now, and it's like, it was kind of dumb. Like the little final engagement, like overall the build up to the final fight was okay, but like it kind of just turned into like a Metal Gear Solid almost ending, where like you pop out and then you fight the big boss at the end, or like a Resident Evil ending, which wasn't terrible, because I know the first game finale was literally just, I'm pretty sure, a quick time event. So it's like, okay. Second game I didn't beat, so there's always that as a problem. Story's okay, you know, nothing to write home about, nothing super insane. It'd be really cool to see people talk about, like the guys that are actually like really into the lore and seeing that stuff. But yeah, other than that, I think it's okay. You know, it's passable. It's all I needed to do to make it wasn't terrible, and they didn't really have all the issues the second game had at launch, which kind of pushed me off of it. So like performance was okay. It wasn't amazing. I had one crash. I had a couple sessions I had really bad performance issues, and that was a major problem, you know. But it's not as bad. Like the second game on launch was horrible. I was playing on Series X on launch, and the game barely ran, and I just put it down because the game wasn't functioning. Like there was like a whole co-op feature that just literally did not work for like the first 2 months of the game being out, and I'm like, okay, and the constant crashes and all that stuff. And then I think even with all the crashing, it would corrupt your save file, so it was just something I didn't want to deal with. Other than that, like performance wise, it was okay. Like the rain effect probably did too much for the performance. Like it had a huge major drops, but there was a few updates here and there while I was playing, and then after the updates, the game ran a little better, so they were most likely fixing those as I finished my playthrough. Combat wise, it's about as clunky as the first 2 games, you know, so it's not necessarily better, it's not necessarily worse. The one good thing is that you start like in the first 2 games, all of the skills you saw me use from the very beginning had to be leveled up, and you had to do it by using them, and instead of just leveling up. You'd get level up points, and then you'd use that to level up your skills, so you had to level up in the point. And it was a little oppressive when like core parkour skills, like In the first game, it was kind of okay because the game was really balanced around it. In the second game, the game was balanced around you having everything at once at the start of the game, but you didn't have everything at the start of the game, so it was a kind of a big problem. And like things like wall climbing, you couldn't do at the start of the first 2 games, but this one you can. Like this one, you can actually super jump. You couldn't do that in the first 2 games. You'd literally have to, like, wall climbing also use stamina, so you'd lose stamina by climbing as well. So that was a big thing they got rid of in this game. So they just made the parkour at the start better. At the end, it was about the same. So it's not super good. The grapple hook, I think, was in the first game and the second game. They're about the same, you know. It wasn't like a Spider-Man or like Halo Infinite where you have like some physics behind it. What is wrong? It wasn't, again, the combat was okay. Like I preferred using the guns and stuff, and most zombies died in 2 or 3 hits. The hardest difficulty, a lot of the bosses have too much health on the hardest difficulty. I think they could probably drop their health by a quarter and it'd be okay. But now that I know, like, if I went back to play this again, I just immediately get all the skills and then just start maxing out the grenade launcher, because the grenade launcher, the explosives just do so much damage. So there's no reason not to use it. Explosives do a ton of damage, especially you can use them against bosses, because the bosses, they don't summon virals by shooting, so you can just unload into them. One of the things I didn't really like was dying got rid of XP. Like there had to be a way to slow you down, unfortunately, and most of that was dying. Additionally, in the first 2 games, there's more questing at night. In this game, there was only one real quest that you needed to go do at night. So there's that aspect. Like I didn't really interact with night combat or anything like that, because really the night combat's like a co-op thing where you guys beat the crap out of virals and get chased. The main draw would have been like the dashers, whatever the hell they're called, with like the loot pinatas that you can fight at night that run from you. And then obviously getting chased by the virals and completing things at night gives you double XP, but there wasn't much to do at night, because like in Dying Light 1, you'd have the antizin crates that drop at night, and you go out and pick them up at night, and that give you obviously extremely good loot, and it would give you antizin, which would you be able to use throughout the game. This game, no antizin obviously, because by this point in time the GRE is underground and not partaking in antizin production, so there wasn't that much like in Dying Light 1 or 2 where you'd have periodic drops of resources falling in, and then you have to go grab it, even though it's nighttime, stuff like that. This game, they had similar things where it's just really survivors and like those random like little checkpoints, so there wasn't really much to do, unfortunately. So there wasn't much to do at night. Dark zones were just kind of you run in, smash up. Like I was sneaking through the first rounds of them, and then towards the end I just kind of ran in and killed everything in a few seconds. So it's like the only things really stopping me towards the end was the actual like large like the tank infecteds and stuff like that, and even then it was just kind of like, okay. The beast mode, like it was cool, like it's really useful for the heal, and you can do some quick damage, but like, to be honest, it didn't do as much damage as I'd like, especially against bosses, because like they don't get like, it'd be nice if you beast moded and you'd perma stun the boss and just give them the old 1-2 buckle my shoe, but that's just not something you'd be having. One of the things I didn't really interact with that much was the driving. There's like the whole race aspect, and the race aspect I didn't really partake in because it wasn't really necessary, and like most of the races were just you going around the map already doing the same thing. Other than that, the driving was okay. Like obviously if I knew how good that the gas conservation skill was, I would have gotten in like the first 2 level ups. But now that I know, like, if you know that, you can just go pick up gas. Obviously I wasn't expecting, I underestimated a lot of the level up, specifically with the crafted weapons. Like, oh yeah, getting the flamethrower at the end there was actually really useful, because I had unlimited ammo and I was just constantly ticking the boss down. But other than that, like, the leveling was okay. I like the leveling. The beast mode, outside of like the heavy slams, I didn't really use too much of it, because obviously the whole point was most of it is just ad clear, and unfortunately add clear against bosses doesn't matter, so you're not doing increased damage or you're not doing like extra things. I like the executions you could do, those are pretty cool, but like most of the time they only happened if you were in beast mode when you're about to kill the guy, so it was like you never really got to see a lot of them. The chimeras were cool, like the invisible volatile was probably my favorite. Unfortunately, again, after I killed them, I didn't see if there was invisible volatiles wandering around the map at night, because again, I didn't really feel a need to go out at night. I just skipped a day. I'm like, okay, like going out at night was just like, I take longer, you know, to go places when I can just go around during the day and not worry, because there was no incentive to get me to go out at night, or like questing that made me go out at night or putting me out at night. And then all the safe zones were just really close to like quest objectives and stuff like that, so there was no reason for me to not just go to bed immediately. Like in Dying Light 1, safe zones were pretty far between in the grand scheme of things. So this game, it really gave you a lot of stuff, like obviously upgrading all of the traps and stuff. There's a couple traps all around, and then again, like, because the whole point of the traps are for you to like get the volatiles off your butt and break away and hide. I never really got to use them. I just, every time I would run around and use them, so there's always that. I think that, like, as I was saying throughout the game, like zombie games don't really make too much sense. Like this game kind of is like almost Resident Evil tier zombies now, where they're not really zombies, they're more like the super powered zombies, so they're not necessarily like something that you're gonna have an easy time killing or anything like that. But I wasn't really expecting a Resident Evil final boss fight that we had, where we just get jumped by a bunch of zombies and then you got to fight the big guy. So the guy literally looked, when he looked like the final boss of the Metal Gear Solid game, where, you know, like so stuff like that. I would have liked to have seen like more, like towards the end you were starting to see more and more Baron patrols. I think towards the end, like, this is just me, it's probably not like a perfect thing, there should have been more Baron patrols, to be honest. Like when I went to that one convoy and the Baron's men were there, that was actually pretty cool. It was just unfortunate that the only time that the viral zombies spawn is when I shoot my bullets, not the Barons. So that was kind of like a you know. Yeah, there wasn't much, obviously. The times where you actually got to deal with virals, they aren't like, because like attacking a viral is just not worth it at all. And in this game it's the same way. Like, I don't even know what the hell they drop. Like I didn't even check. It's probably some good stuff. It might be more some like crafting materials or something, but I literally could care less, because it didn't come up at all. So there was no incentive to hunt viral volatiles in this game. I wish the looting was a little faster. You know, it takes the time, because like when I kill like 30-40 zombies and I have to sit there, like I'd spend like 5 minutes searching every single body just to get all the scraps. Certain crafting materials were really hard to come by, and I think that was stupid. Like oxidizers, there's like 5 places in the entire map they spawn, and they're like super important to get your weapons upgraded, and it's like, why are these so hard to come by? The price of certain equipment, like throwing knives taking wire, is ridiculous. Like, there's a few things that kind of put me off on the whole crafting thing. The damage boost is nice. Too bad, like there was no easy way to get cordyceps, you know. So like a lot of, maybe that was because I was playing on the hardest difficulty, and the hardest difficulty cuts a lot of that resources that you would normally get, but I don't think that's fun, you know. I think definitely the quote unquote story mode, like the second hardest difficulty, is probably the best version. And I think that if you make a hard difficulty and it's just there to be not fun, like Lasso is fun on Halo because it's challenging and it's unfair, but you know you're going in there to be unfair. And there's like a certain level of, oh my god, this is actually fun because how ridiculous it is. This game isn't fun because it's ridiculous, especially because the game punishes you for dying. So it's like, oh, you use those resources, well now you're down 1500 XP. And you're just like, oh, that's so not cool. And it's like, oh, well, don't worry, you get more XP when you kill a single zombie, it's worth 6 XP. Oh, thank you, brother, I really appreciate it. That was definitely something that I just didn't really care about, you know. It's like the crafting and all the killing the zombies, like towards the end I'm like, I don't really want to kill zombies, you know. And that's I was just kind of pushing it to get through quickly. So I think that's a big problem this game has, is that rather than playing the game, I'd rather just get through it quickly towards the end. The characters are okay. You know, Kyle Crane's still Kyle Crane. He's just your standard, you know, action game protagonist. You know, I think there was a lot of, like, when you looked at it, it's like, oh, Olivia betrayed us at the end. I kind of saw that coming from the very beginning. You know, it's like, oh, there's going to be something. Oh, well, actually, her dad was bitten by a zombie and he's the only one with the cures. And it's like, okay, literally everyone we worked with betrayed us in some way. And it's like, there's literally, like, the only people that didn't were like Lydia's group. And, you know, like, they all just kind of blended together, to be honest. I'm supposed to, like, care about them or whatever, but I couldn't care less. Like, they're just the crazy zombie people that can control zombies, I guess. The actually only character outside of the protagonist and Olivia that I cared about was the fucking Baron, and his cock up at the end was so ridiculous. Like, it was such a plot. He had the Baron, like, at the very end of the game was so bullshit. Like, he completely got killed by plot armor. Like, oh yeah, right as he's about to kill Lydia, oh no, I'm gonna monologue and let Olivia give Olivia my gun. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you shitting me? I'm gonna, it's like, why didn't you just kill her? Like, you had her, like it was just bad writing. They could have just killed Lydia and then had Olivia, Aiden, and Kyle be the only survivors. But I guess they wanted Lydia to be in the final shot for some reason. Like, she just walks up, like, this person I didn't even care about. She just magically has these superpowers now that let her control zombies. So it's just like, that was some of the things I didn't like. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with, like, the parkour being clunky. You know, when you're doing horizontal movement, it's pretty good. The vertical movements, when things start getting really ridiculous, because it's just, you're like, the horizontal movement's so fast, but the vertical movement is so slow. And it's like, I don't want to climb things. I'd rather just move around horizontally and stuff like that. And you think the grappling hook would be enough to fix the situation, but like, half the things in the game you couldn't jump to with the grapple hook. So that was like a feels bad. Yeah, I just, the game's okay. You know, I'm probably not going to play it again. Maybe if there's a DLC that adds, like, story, I'd probably go play it, similar to Dying Light 1. Like, after I beat Dying Light 1, I'm like, I'm not going to go do another playthrough on the hardest difficulty. That's boring. That's probably not going to be any fun. But, you know, when the DLC came out, I played the DLC. I'm like, oh, the DLC is pretty cool. So I think they're going to do pretty well if they do a DLC for this game. Dying Light 3, you know, maybe in a couple more years, I'll see how it turns out to be, and I'll give it a shot. They have me entertained, because Dying Light 2 was not something I would have personally played. I'm never going to play again, because the game, just when it first came out, I had a really hard time playing it. But this game was definitely a better thing. Like, the standard, like, Western gaming tropes, they're not really there. Like, yeah, there's just, like, some random strong female moments with, like, the sheriff. Like, every single character outside of Aiden and Kyle were female. And it's like, okay, I don't really care. You know, it's like, oh, the leader of both survivor groups are women, and the big bad is a male. So it's like, okay, like, it's just some modern culture crap, and I don't really care about it. I don't want to look that far into it. And it just so happens, like, the only two guys that get killed at the very end are both the guys, and none of the females die. So it's like, you know, maybe there's something there. I don't know. Because, like, you see, like in the game, for, like, the Lydia's kind of like the big plot hole that I don't really like. She was basically survived solely because the writers wanted her to live, and they gave her, like, a bullshit moment to survive. And you look at, like, there's literally a story quest, like a side quest in the game, about what happens when you start trying to control the zombies. They literally, like, start controlling you instead. Like, the whole point is that there's, like, a hive mind or something with the volatiles, and they'll eventually take you over no matter what. And Lydia's like, oh, I'm super powerful brain person, I'm able to do all of it. And it's like, literally in the game already, prior to Lydia getting this power to control the zombies, there was a guy already doing it who was a stronger telepath than her, was blocking out all their telepath, and he literally became a living nest for the volatiles. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. And she even knew about it. So it's like, I would have been concerned. It's like, oh, I don't think you should need people doing this. Other than that, plot hole wise, like, there was just some, like, crappy, you know, fucking plot armor at the very end with the Baron. The Baron probably could have killed everyone except for Aiden and Kyle, and severely wounded Olivia. And I think the game would have been completely the same, and it would have happened. Been okay. That wasn't too much though. Like every single time I got betrayed, like there's like 4 betrayals in this game or something like that. You get betrayed by the Baron, not the Baron. You get betrayed by the sheriff. You get betrayed by Olivia. You get betrayed by the guy at the water treatment plant, and I forget who else you get betrayed by. Who else you get betrayed by? I forget. I think it's only 3 betrayals. 3 betrayals. It's a lot of betraying in a game, you know. There wasn't like too much cringe dialogue in the game, you know, like that we got out of most games recently. Like if you went to go play like a Dragon Age the Veilguard, the dialogue's pretty cringe. There was no like modern gaming tropes where like they have to have the insert "I'm gay" and all that stuff. Like none of that was in the game, and I'm glad for it. You know, it just makes the game, it's just a standard, you know, action game where you go parkour around and kill zombies, and it's not this kind of political statement being put into a game to force feed it down my throat. So I'm glad that wasn't in the game as much. Like, yeah, there was still some of it there. Like I didn't see like any like political flags being flown or anything like that, but you know, there's like a few things there that I'll let pass because it doesn't really matter, you know, they're survivors or whatever. But overall, like, yeah, it's a good game. I don't think it was terrible. Solid 8 out of 10. It's about as good, like it's about as good as Metaphor Fantasio, to be honest. Like as a game, I could definitely see a DLC coming out and continuing it being good. Definitely, I'm glad they innovated on the formula and realized people want to be able to parkour completely at the beginning of the game rather than like almost the end of the game. That was like a real struggle for me in the first 2 games, because like you like, oh, I don't get a freaking tic-tac, you know, I don't get to jump between walls, or I don't get to look behind me and jump and do like quick fast movements or anything like that because I'm not high enough level. Like that was probably not a good thing, and I'm really glad they brought it into the beginning. It's probably like the best innovation they have, and I hope if they continue the series they do that, and just they don't have as like, unfortunately with a lot of that going away, we lost a lot of like the build quote unquote variety that you can get, because you could do like light weapons, you could do heavy weapons, stuff like that. This game was just brass tacks, it just works type of movement where we have one story we want to tell. You can do whatever the hell you want with weapon wise. Pretty much you just get crit on like your medium weapons and just run around smacking things to have fun. And it worked. You know, I think it really did work. I'm glad they made this game. When it was announced, I didn't even know this game came out, and then I just saw some people playing it and I'm like, oh, it looks pretty fun. So yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, and I really do thank you all very much for watching. If you made it this far in the stream, really helped me out a lot if you hit that like button. Pushes me in the algorithm, and you know, makes me feel better because I see the number go from small to big. Obviously you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe button. And if you hit that notification button, you'll get notified when I go live or if I post a video. And I try to post my streaming schedule every Sunday on my X account and my YouTube community, so if you're subscribed, you'll most likely see when I'm going to go live if you want to catch a stream. If you have any comments or tips or tricks about any in the game I played, or if any comments about how you guys felt about the game or what's going on in the game that I play, leave it in the comment section. I'll respond most likely, and it helps me out a lot so I can learn, because obviously you guys are smarter than me.